Hi, my name is Charles Humphreys from Want to Get On Career Coaching. Today, we're going to be looking at how to write a winning CV. So, let me guess, you're not watching this vlog on CVs because you really want to, but because you have to. Let's face it, even though CVs are incredibly important, they have to rank right up there on the boredom scale along with party political broadcasts. So, here are my 5 top tips for writing a winning CV that will grab the eye of your next employer. So the first thing to do is to decide on the format. Do you go for a chronological CV or a targeted CV? So you're thinking, what the heck is a chronological CV? So this is a one where you list your experience starting with your most recent employer and going back to your first job, or possibly 15, 20 years at the most. You might want to choose this type of CV if the next job you're going to is pretty much like the one you're in now, or is a clear progression from your present job. So, when an employer looks at your CV and the work history, they can see straight away what skills and experience you have to offer. On the other hand, you might want to go for a targeted CV. And this is one where the main section is not given over to your work history, but is instead given over to your skills and experience that you've built up over the years. You might want to choose 5 or 6 titles, such as project management or IT skills or communication. But this is the really important bit. The skills that you choose have to be relevant to the job you're going for. Otherwise, you must have just screw up your CV and pop it straight in the bin. One of the main reasons why you might want to choose a targeted CV is that you can't rely on your work history alone to attract the attention of an employer. What I mean is that if an employer simply saw your job titles in your employment history, they might jump to the wrong conclusion and think you just don't have the right skills and experience that they're looking for. However, if you choose a targeted CV, it's a really good way of showing off your relevant skills and experience, even if you don't have the right job titles in your work history. This is also a great CV for career changes, or if you're trying to disguise gaps in your employment history, either due to maternity leave or maybe sickness. My second tip is to tailor your CV to the job. I remember when I used to go through hundreds of CVs a day in job recruitment campaigns, scoring job applicants' suitability. And do you know what? It used to infuriate me that so many CVs seemed to bear little relevance to the job specification or the personal specification. So when you write your CV, make sure it contains words that relate to the skills, experience and qualifications that are required in the job. A CV that is tailored to a specific role will always stand a far greater chance of being selected than a generalist CV which is not focused on any job at all. My third tip is to use power words. We're not talking about words out of the latest Superman film here. What we're talking about are choosing words on your CV that impress. Whoever picks up your CV will be judging you entirely on the words you use in your CV. So make sure that the words you use create an impression of power and achievement and success. And whatever you do, avoid repetition. In my blog, I've got a whole list of power words that will help you sound like Winston Churchill and not Bart Simpson. My fourth tip is don't include too much information about you. A CV isn't an autobiography. It's not a place to write your life's history. If you include too much information, then it will simply crowd out the important facts that an employer is desperate to find out about you. Most CVs should be no longer than 2 pages. If you're a teenager or maybe in your early 20s, you can probably keep it down to 1 page. But if you want to find out more information on the different sections of a CV, then why don't you check out my blog and the links below this vlog. My last tip is to highlight your achievements on your CV. And this is a real simple but an effective one. A person who comes over as being successful on the CV will always stand a better chance of being selected for a job interview, you can either have a separate achievement section on your CV or possibly include a one-line or two-line of achievements under each of your employers. So I hope you found this vlog on how to write a winning CV really useful. And if you want to find out more information that drills down into the details of a CV, then why don't you just check out my blog in the link below. Also, it would be really great if you could subscribe to my channel for future videos and also like this video. And if you would like me to make a video on a specific subject around career development or job direction or anything like that, please leave a comment in the space below.